Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Build your army decks, dominate opponents in player versus player action, collect and upgrade cards to fit your strategy, improve their power and unlock unique traits. Choose from all 40k factions, take part in campaigns based on iconic 40k battles, rise to the top of the leaderboard and win glory. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this review for Engine War. It's the Psychic Awakening book, the latest one that's come along. I've broken it into different parts. First of all, we've taken a look at Adeptus Mechanicus just to see the kind of upgrades that they get, extra stratagems and so on. In this video, we'll take a look at Imperial Knights, an army that's been struggling on the channel, just seems to not doing too well. So we'll be looking for some golden nuggets here in this book to see if there's anything that can help the Imperial Knights out. I'm going to break this down into different parts. So Imperial Knights here, there's Chaos Knights to take a look at as well, and check out the previous video on Adeptus Mechanicus, and there's some Chaos stuff here to review also. I get my discount 40k stuff from gamingfigures.com. You can check them out. There'll be a link in the video description below. But it means you get a hold of this book and other stuff from Games Workshop or other model ranges as well at a discounted rate. So we've flicked through the start of the book. We've looked at the AdMech. There was some pretty good stuff in there. But now it's the turn to take a look at the Imperial Knights. So, the Strike of the Lance, you're going to get name generator here, stratagems, we'll take a look at those, household traditions, there's some more customization that you could do, some more warlord traits as well, and then Questor Allegiance oaths as well. They do need a bit of help with the Imperial Knights, so a couple of pages, 2 pages of new stratagems. So, close quarters destruction, 1 command point. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase when a knight errant model from your army, so it's quite specific, this one, is chosen to shoot with until the end of that phase, and resolve an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model against a unit that is within half the weapon's maximum range. You can reroll the wound roll, so rerolling wounds. Yeah, well, pretty good. That's not bad. It's only 1 command point. Rerolling wounds, that's going to help out a whole host of weapons, whether it's some kind of Gatling type weapon with loads of shots, or even your higher powered stuff, such as a thermal cannon, for example. Rerolling wound rolls is very, very helpful. So yeah, not bad. I reckon I'd use that. I've got a knight errant in my army, so I've got it for Imperial. I've got it for AdMech actually, that one. But if you have one for an Imperial Knight force, then you can use it. Interesting. Then 1 command point, thin their ranks. Use this stratagem in the shooting phase when Armaget Helverin model from your army, and their firepower is already really good. It's chosen to shoot with. To the end of that phase, Armaget autocannons this model is equipped with make 6 attacks when targeting a unit that contains 6 or more models rather than 2d3. That's excellent. Again, it's very, very good. Guaranteed 6 attacks. Again, I would go for that as well. Yeah, really good one. Not bad at all. So we're off to a good start here for Imperial Knights. Not utterly devastating, but pretty good. Downside to the Imperial Knights I've found is your command points. Struggling with a limited amount of command points. A lot of Imperial Knight players then start taking the Loyal 32. or the Rusty 17, I think it's called the Rusty 16, where you can take AdMech minimum battalion to get a load of command points, but don't usually use many, so you've got to choose wisely what you're going to go for here when it comes to spending points on stratagems. Hurled Wreckage, 1 command point. Use this stratagem when an enemy vehicle or monster model is destroyed as a result of an attack made by a Thunderstrike Gauntlet. Freedom's Hand, or the Paragon Gauntlet, by an Imperial Knights model from your army. Resolving that weapon's ability as a result of that enemy being destroyed. If an enemy vehicle or monster unit is selected as the target of the weapon's ability, that unit will automatically suffer 3 mortal wounds. You do not need to roll a dice. Again, it's not utterly devastating. Not really. It's okay. But they're just sort of improving what's already there. You know, just giving guaranteed 6 shots instead of 2d3, guaranteeing 3 mortal wounds instead of rolling a dice. Flanking Manoeuvre, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your movement phase. When an Imperial Knights model from your army is chosen to advance, add 8 to the model's move characteristic until the end of the phase instead of making an advance roll. That's pretty good. That model must end the move within 12 inches of a battlefield edge and cannot charge. So yeah, maybe might come in useful if you need to get somewhere quick. Capacitor Charge, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase. When a Knight's Preceptor model from your army is chosen to shoot with, to the end of the phase, change the type characteristic of the high intensity profile of its las impulse that the model is equipped with to heavy 6. So again, guaranteed that 5 power. So sort of giving you an option to try and eradicate that randomness. D6 shots is so unpredictable, and so if you're willing to spend the command points, there's something you can do about that, just at the right point when you really need the firepower at the right point during the game. Pack Tactics is next. 1 command point. Use this stratagem in the fight phase when an Armiger Warglaive model from your army is chosen to fight with. Select 1 enemy unit within an inch of that model. At the end of that phase, increase the attacks characteristic of the Armiger Warglaive model and all other friendly Armiger Warglaive units within an inch of that enemy unit by 1. Each other friendly Armiger Warglaive model within an inch of that enemy unit to a maximum of 2 additional attacks. So you're charging in with multiple Warglaives, and then you're going to get some extra attacks. And yeah, pretty good, because your additional attack converts into with the Reaper Chain Cleaver, 1 attack becomes 3, I think, something like that, so that can start multiplying pretty good. Yeah, useful. And again, I've got 2 of them, so I can imagine them working. I do usually in games like them working together as a pair, so there's a little bonus stratagem for that. I like that one, it's quite good. Next one, 1 command point. So far these are okay. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Trophy Claim, next. 1 command point. Use a stratagem when an enemy Titanic model is destroyed as a result of an attack made by a melee weapon by an Imperial Knights model from your army. At the end of the battle, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of that Imperial Knights model. It's just +1 attack. Again, it's not anything utterly amazing here, but it's alright. Electroformic Overload, 2 command points. Use a stratagem in shooting phase after inflicting any damage as a result of an attack made by a Thundercoil Harpoon. Right, so I have one of these. I have the Knight Valiant. So each made by a Knight Valiant model from your army, each enemy unit within 3 of the target of that attack suffers D3 mortal wounds after inflicting damage. So you've got to inflict damage, so you've got to hit, you've got to wound, then inflict damage, and it's D3 to units nearby. If you're charging into something densely packed with a load of characters, or it's the real centre point of the opponent's army, then that might be worth doing, but it's 2 command points for that. Repulsing Conflagration, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your opponent's charge phase. After a Knight Valiant model from your army has fired Overwatch, at the end of the turn, subtract 2 from charge rolls made for units that target that model with a charge. Right, okay, so just to try and keep the enemy away from your Knight Valiant. Yeah, it's one worth bearing in mind. Okay, and then Belligerent Machine Spirit, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when a Knight Warden model from your army is chosen to shoot with. At the end of that phase, the range of that model's Avenger Gatling cannon is changed to 8, and resolve an attack made with it, it's auto hits. Okay. Again, sort of helping you max out with your firepower. Seems to be a running theme with these. So there's a lot of ones that are okay so far, but the search for the golden nugget continues, I think. Siegebreaker Bombardment. 1 command point. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase when a knight casts a model from your army is chosen to shoot with. To the end of the phase, so long as that model did not move in your previous movement phase, add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with twin Siegebreaker cannons by that model. So a bit of a bonus for that specific weapon. Linebreaker. 1 command point. Use your stratagem in the fight phase when a knight gallant model from your army is chosen to fight with. To the end of that phase, making pile and consolidation moves, it's 6 inches instead of 3. Right, if you really need it and can remember that during a game that's available. Cover the advanced. 1 command point. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase after any model has lost any wounds as a result of an attack made by a rapid fire battle cannon, Avenger Gatling cannon or thermal cannon by a Knight Crusader model from your army. At the end of the turn, the enemy's model cannot fire Overwatch. Interesting. But it's got to come from a Knight Crusader. It's quite specific, a good number of these stratagems. The last one, Thunderstruck. 1 command point. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase when a Knight Paladin model from your army is chosen to shoot with. At the end of that phase, damage characteristic of that model's rapid fire battle cannon or Thunder Voltoris is 3. And that's pretty good. It's probably one of the better ones, I reckon. Guaranteed 3. Yep. That's not bad at all. I reckon that's perhaps one of the better ones. So, yeah, so these are all okay. Not bad. And, yeah, they're alright. Nothing too exciting though. So, household traditions. With the exception of 3 blades, all Imperial Knights belong to a household. So, I'm running House Terran at the moment. This is represented by the household keyword as described in the Codex Imperial Knights. If you've chosen Imperial Knights household that does not have a household tradition, or you've created your own Imperial Knights household, the rules presented over the following pages allow you to create your own household traditions. This is going to be interesting here. I wonder if they let you do 2. You do. Yep. It says if your chosen household does not have an associated household tradition in the Codex Imperial Knights, you can create one by selecting 2 abilities from the list presented here. Note that these rules are available to both Questor Imperialis and Questor Mechanicus households, and the usual rules for household traditions still apply with the following additions. So, all units in Imperial Knights Super Heavy Detachment other than 3-blade units must have the same Questor Allegiance. Fair enough. Any rules marked with an asterisk count as 2. Right, so there's some heavier duty ones here, ones that are pretty powerful. And there's a few, there's about 6 of these count as 2. So you're going to get 1, but it's probably quite potent. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting here to see if there's anything decent here. So I'm quite happy with House Terran. It encourages Imperial Knights to push forwards with some benefits here, but we'll see what comes up. Aggressive Persecution is the first one. This only counts for 1, so you can choose another one after this. When a model of this tradition fires Overwatch or is chosen to shoot or fight with, you can reroll a single dice from determining damage as a result of those attacks. And that's okay. Yeah, it's alright. It's okay. Blessed Arms. And again, this is just one that you can choose another one after this. Blessed Arms. They're all. What I'm going to do is I'm only going to call out the ones that with the asterisk. All the others will just mean that you can pick 2. So Blessed Arms, add 6 to the maximum range characteristic of ranged weapons. As a result of this tradition, is equipped with that have an unmodified range characteristic of 24 or more. Add 2 inches to the maximum range characteristic of other ranged weapons model this tradition is equipped with. So if you want to fight from range, then that's the bonus that you can use. Again, it's alright if that's your theme. I used to run Drukhari with one of the abilities that gave them, one of the carballs that gave them extra 6-inch range, and it never really helped very much. So I don't know how helpful that's going to be. Glorified History. When a model of this tradition fires Overwatch or is chosen to shoot or fight with, you can reroll a single hit roll made for that model. Again, it's okay. I mean, across the board, if every knight model gets that, yeah, I mean, it's pretty good because an Overwatch you're getting the reroll, the hit roll. Then it comes around, you got your shooting phase, you're getting the reroll. Fight phase, you're getting the reroll. And then you multiply that for all of your models in your household tradition or your detachment, and it's pretty good. It's alright. Shattered Empire Stalkers. This counts as 2. Resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon against a model with this addition by a model that is more than 24 inches away is treated as having the benefit of cover to its saving throw. Right, so long range. It's got quite a long distance away, range 24, but you count as being in cover. Quite big, I guess, for Imperial Knights. But there's a lot of weapons out there now that have got at least some kind of AP minus on them. But again, that one's alright. I'm just sort of in my own mind thinking, am I going to get away from House Terran? It's got to be something good for me to do that. But so far, these ones are alright, but I don't think I'd shift here. Unremitting is next, and again, this counts as 2. When a model of this tradition fires Overwatch or is chosen to shoot with, you can reroll a single dice when determine the number of attacks that model makes when attacking with a weapon as a random number of attacks. Well, weird that that's 2. Your entire tradition is a benefit with getting a reroll for the number of attacks. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth that. Next, Slayer of Beasts. I'm not sure. If you're an Imperial Knight, if you know the rules of this already, give your own feedback if you're an Imperial Knights player. Are you happy with the benefits here, or is it a bit on the mediocre side? I'm not sure. I don't know, it's not too good. Slayer of Beasts. Resolving an attack made with a melee weapon, excluding Titanic feat, by a model of this tradition against a vehicle monster, add 1 to the hit roll. Okay. Hunters of the Unseen. This counts as 2. Resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon by a model of this tradition. The target does not receive the benefit of cover to its save and throw, so no cover allowed. Again, that counts as 2. Okay, Defiant Fury. Whilst a model of this tradition has lost half or more of its wounds, increase its attack characteristic by 1. Okay, interesting one. And then when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model of this tradition that has lost half or more of its wounds, add 1 to the hit roll. Okay. So some benefits if you're damaged. Need to remember that though during the game. It's easy during the heat of battle to forget these bonuses, and it's annoying later on when you realise you could have got some extra +1 to the hit roll, +1 attack. Storm Striders. Add 1 inch to the move characteristic of a model of this tradition. Always use the top row of its damage table when determining its move characteristic, regardless of how many wounds it has left. Okay, that was pretty good. That's only a single, so you've got another one you can add on top of that. Storm Striders is pretty good, that one. +1 move, and it's top bracket for your move, regardless of damage. That one's a nice one. Because you are going to take damage, you are going to get slowed down in the game, so it's definitely going to come in handy. Really good, that one. And that's only a single one as well. So you could combine that with something that benefits your shooting. Like this one, Glorified History. Combine that with Storm Striders. Combine those two together, you've got +1 move, always moving at your full rate. When you fire Overwatch, or when you shoot, or when you fight, you're rerolling a single hit roll. That's a good combo. So that is not too bad at all. Yep, okay. It's starting to improve now. Hounds of War. An Armiger class model of this tradition can either shoot or charge in a turn in which it fell back. If it shoots and resolve an attack made by model in the shooting phase that turn, it's -1 to hit rolls. So a bit like Ultramarines. Something's alright, especially if you've got a nice lot of Armigers in your army. Noble Combatants. Resolve an attack made by a melee weapon, excluding Titanic feat, by model of this tradition. A modified hit roll of 6 scores an additional hits. 6 is pop extra hits. And again, you can combine that with something else. That's not bad. Exacting Charge. Model of this tradition makes a charge move, is charged or performs heroic intervention. The arm penetration characteristic of a melee weapon that model is equipped with, excluding the feat, is improved by 1. So AP -0 becomes AP -1 to the end of the turn. Yeah, it doesn't help the feat though. So your melee weapons are usually pretty good anyway, such as the Gauntlet or the Reaper Chainsword, so I'm not sure how helpful that is. Honoured Sacristans. This counts as 2. When resolve an attack made by a weapon that has an armor penetration characteristic of -1 against a model of this edition, the weapon is treated as having an armor penetration of 0. So it's quite limited with the benefit there. It's only AP -1. It's fixed at that. Weapons coming through, and they just don't get the AP -1. It just comes through as 0. That's 2. Okay. There's better combinations out there. Survivor's Strife. +1 to the wounds characteristic of armor class models with this edition. Add 2 to the wounds characteristic of all other models with this edition. So you're bumping up your wounds across the board. That one's not bad. No, pretty good. Just adding on extra wounds. Okay, yeah, it's not bad at all. That one. That counts as 2. Next, Pains of Old Night. This counts as 2 again. Resolve an attack made by a model of this edition against a psychic or demon unit. Reroll wound rolls of 1. That counts as 2. Okay, and then Machine Focus counts as 2 again. Resolve an attack made by a model of this edition is subject to any negative hit roll modifiers. Add 1 to the hit roll. And again, that counts as 2. Interesting. Guardians of the Frontier. Whilst a model of this edition is within an inch of any enemy units that contain 11 or more models, increase its attacks by 1. That was right. Frontline Fighters. Resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon by a model of this edition against a unit within 12 inches. Improve the armor penetration characteristic by 1. Again, it's alright. Not bad. Steel Sinewed Aim. Models of this edition do not suffer the penalties to their hit rolls for advancing and shooting assault weapons. And then Sanctified Armour. When a model of this edition would lose a wound in the psychic phase, roll 1d6 and a 5+, the wound is not lost. So again, quite specific, but if you're facing a load of Psychers, maybe you're up against Thousand Suns or Eldar, and there's loads of potential smite, and that could come in handy. Okay. So yeah, not too bad. There's some pretty good combos going on there. Okay. So, Questor Allegiance Oaths. Imperial Knights owe their allegiance to either the Imperium of Man or the machine cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus. This is represented by the Questor Allegiance keyword, as described in Codex Imperial Knights. The rules represented over the following pages are new rules for Imperial Knights based on their choice of allegiance. Okay. If your army is battle forged, units in Imperial Knights Super Heavy Detachment can gain a Questor Allegiance Oath, so long as every unit in that detachment has the same Questor Allegiance. If every unit in that detachment is Questor Mechanicus, they gain this Sacristan Pledge Questor Allegiance Oath. If every unit is Questor Imperialis, they gain the Vow of Honour. It's a little bonus just to nudge the Imperial Knights forwards a little bit here. So, Questor Mechanicus, first of all. At the start of your turn, a model of this Questor Allegiance Oath regains a lost wound, and that is great. Fine, brilliant, excellent. Very straightforward. Regaining, I love auto-regenerate wounds. I was a big fan of that. It's great having, your heart sinks when you're losing wounds, but just when you have that ability to regain wounds. And auto-regain wounds, fantastic. So, excellent. Questor Imperialis. So, so far the stratagems are okay. This is starting to get better, and then this is an improvement. So I'm starting to swing around my opinion now for this Imperial Knights update here. Pretty good. Questor Imperialis. Vow of Honour. Add 1 to advance and charge rolls made from a model of this Questor Allegiance Oath. This is not cumulative of modifiers such as Land Strider, sadly. Okay. I take that one. I take the auto regain a wound. But +1 advance and charge. Yep. Okay. Then, Questor Allegiance Warlord Traits. Imperial Knights character model from your army. You can use a Questor Allegiance Warlord Traits table to determine their Warlord trait they have instead of those presented in other publications. You can use the Warlord Traits table that is relative to the model's Questor Allegiance, either roll D3 or choose one. So, Questor Mechanicus. These are the 3 new ones here. Paragon of the Omnissiah. Add 2 to the Warlord's Wounds characteristic. Not bad. Cold Eradication. When you determine the number of attacks this Warlord makes with a weapon as a random number of attacks, e.g. heavy d6. Roll 1 additional dice and discard 1 of the dice. So okay, and then calculated targeting. Resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon by this Warlord, excluding Overwatch. Unmodified hit roll of 4+ is always successful. Yeah, not bad. Just reliable firepower, despite damage coming through. So that one's alright. That's okay. Questor Imperialis, Revered Knight. This Warlord always fights first in the fight phase, even if it did not charge. Pretty good. Really good. If the enemy has units that have charged or have a similar ability, then alternate choosing units to 5, starting with the player whose turn is taking place. Strike and Shield. Resolve an attack made by a melee weapon against this Warlord, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Whilst enemy units within an inch of this Warlord, subtract 1 from the attacks characteristic of each vehicle or monster model in the unit. Okay, and then Tireless Duty. This Warlord can perform a rogue intervention if there are enemy units within 6 of it instead of 3. When doing so, can move up to 6 inches instead of 3. That's okay. So that's it, and then we're stopping at Imperial Knights. I'll do that as a separate video just to keep things straightforward, so you can watch whatever video is relevant to you. So some updates there for the Imperial Knights. Not bad. I think some other factions have done a lot better, but there's some pretty good stuff in there. If you're an Imperial Knights player, you're aware of the rules. I said this earlier on. Leave your own comments and feedback. Leave your own combos and combinations and traits that you would take that you think would be good. It's all open for discussion in the comments section below. Not too bad. Perhaps too late here for the Imperial Knights on the channel because they've been decimated this season. But maybe with 9th edition coming along and this book's still being relevant despite the new edition of 40k, then we might see the Knights rise and perform better in the future. Maybe try some of these out in some challenge battles, maybe. We'll see what happens. But check out the other videos. Thanks for watching and tune in next time.